bison and oatmeal.
Why'd you have to do that to me, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson? What's up, guys? My name is Paul Saladino. I am a licensed medical doctor. I am very interested in food and how you can use food to reverse chronic illness that your doctor might not tell you is fixable. Let's get in and see how Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson eats in a day. Here we go.
I am a real creature of habit when it comes to my diet. I usually eat the same thing every day.
I get it. I'm actually on board with this. I eat the same thing basically every single day right now too. If you guys want to see what I eat in a day, there's a video. I'll link to it here. What Paul Saladino eats in a day, 2026 edition. So you can check that out. But basically, yeah, I think eating the same thing every day is an underappreciated hack.
For days and weeks and months. It's very consistent. It's very boring.
But I don't think boring is the right word. I think it's functional. When you eat the same thing every day, when you figure out what works for you, yes, if your diet is not varied enough, you can run into nutrient deficiencies, but basically eating some plant foods and some animal foods, you're going to get enough nutrients for the most part, depending what you're using. And that's consistency and it helps you stay disciplined. It's not boring. It's functional and it works well long-term.
It's also extremely disciplined, and that's something that I picked up from my old man, who was a hardcore gym fanatic. He was one of the first professional wrestlers who had a bodybuilder's body. So he taught me very early on not to eat to please the tongue, but eat to nourish the body. He taught me that when I was 5. That's probably why I need therapy.
His dad was jacked. Holy moly, his dad was jacked. And definitely on steroids. His dad was definitely on steroids. But I don't really think there needs to be such a dichotomy there. I don't think that you have to either nourish the body or please the tummy. The problem here is that we are exposed to so many foods that are hyper palatable, that basically have been engineered by nerdy scientists wearing glasses with comb overs in white coats in labs to optimally activate pleasure centers in your brain, in the nucleus accumbens, in the ventral tegmental area. They literally have humans with electrodes, EEGs, on their brains, and they're feeding them foods to see what foods will optimally tickle the receptors in your brain to make it as pleasurable as possible. That's crazy. If you're eating that food, the deck is so far stacked against you that if you go back and eat something like chicken or steak or an apple, it's never going to give you the same amount of dopamine as hot Cheetos. It's just never going to do it. If you think apple or an orange or a banana or a steak or cantaloupe or squash or potatoes are boring, we've already lost. So I disagree with that. I think eating nourishing food, getting rid of the garbage helps you differentiate signal from noise. And you'll understand that nourishing food actually tastes very good. You just can't be eating a bunch of junk at the same time. It doesn't work as well.
Best strategies are often the ones that you never feel like you're hungry.
Food for Humans is single ingredient foods and foods with labels your great grandmother would recognize. If you are not eating that, you are not eating Food for Humans. You are essentially stacking the deck against yourself, making yourself more hungry. You will very well likely need an Ozempic or something to lose weight because your brain is so disordered and you cannot actually achieve real hunger without eating excess calories and nutrients that lead to obesity. That is a vicious cycle you cannot get out of unless you are eating real foods. That's not a sexy thing to suggest. Everyone's always known that. Yeah, if you want to use a GLP-1, know this. They don't correct the root cause, which is the garbage foods you're eating and your lack of discipline. Sorry, I got to tell you guys the truth. Number 2, you'll probably be on them for your whole life. There's good evidence that when you stop a GLP-1 agonist like Ozempic, Mounjaro, whatever, you are 4 times more likely to regain the weight when you stop versus stopping exercise. This is great for pharmaceutical companies, horrible for you. I saw something online the other day. Someone said, I just started taking retatrutide. They're going to sell $11 trillion of this stuff. And I thought, yeah, maybe the whole population's going to be on it because no one can get off of it. So yeah, you want to eat in a way that helps you feel satiated, not hungry. Macros are important to think about. Let's see what he does for macros.
There's a handful of chefs who I work with, and I have one advisory chef who speaks to them, who works very closely with my strength and conditioning coach because I am in different locations often.
Protein, 40 to 45%, carbs, 40 to 45%, fat, 10 to 15 or 20%. I think that's too much protein. Basically, once you're beyond 20 to 25% of your calories from protein, there's no point. There's no point, guys. No point to having more than 20% of your calories as protein. There's tons of research literature to support this. 25% protein max. 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Even in bodybuilders, you don't need that. Nobody really knows how much protein you need if you're on steroids, which probably. So maybe you have more protein if you're on those things, but they're not healthy for you, and I don't recommend those things. I don't take those things. I've done multiple videos where I show my blood work. I open the kimono and show you guys all my blood work. I've never taken those things. Basically, 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight is more than anyone needs. Get it from animal foods. 40 to 45% of protein is way too much in my opinion. I would say 40 to 45% carbohydrates. Most people are going to do good with this or even a little more. The problem, I think, for a lot of people is you can't get as many carbohydrates as you need without eating garbage carbohydrates, things like grains, which are hard to process, hard for the body to digest. And then the fat, I think if you go below 20% fat, you're going to affect your hormones negatively. Yeah, you'll lose weight, you'll be lean, but look at bodybuilders. You're gonna tank your sex hormones. So I would push the carbohydrates higher than 45% if you can. I think you wanna get 20 to 30% of your calories from fat, guys. If you go much below 20% of your calories from fat, you're going to affect your hormones. You're going to affect your sex hormones, your testosterone, your estrogen, men or women. You're going to affect your fertility, your sperm count, your sex drive. You don't want to push your fat too low. You'll lose weight, you'll get ripped, but it's also called rabbit starvation potentially if you don't have a lot of carbohydrates. Okay, breakfast. Let's see.
I eat 6 meals a day, so
6.
I don't really have breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Although I have breakfast, that's always my meal one, but everything else will fluctuate. My breakfast consists of eggs. It consists of a meat, and that is either a bison or a steak.
We like it.
It also consists of oatmeal.
Why'd you have to do that to me, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson? You were saying doing so good. Eggs, steak. I love it. Oatmeal. I hate oatmeal, guys. I hate oatmeal. Why do I have such a vendetta against oatmeal? Oats are a grain. They have a really high amount of phytic acid. What is phytic acid? It's a big molecule that chelates other minerals. I've talked about this on other videos, I know, but maybe you haven't seen those videos, so I have to tell you this. In this video, they show milk with the oats, right? You think you're getting calcium from the milk. No, the phytic acid in the oats is chelating. It's biting onto the calcium. You're not absorbing it. Oats are a great source of zinc, you say. Yeah, but you're not absorbing much of the zinc in oats at all because of the phytic acid. Oats are also high in saponins, a soapy-like substance that can be irritating for the gut. So you can get rid or decrease the phytic acid in oats significantly, but you're gonna have to ferment them for days. I'm talking 3 to 4 days, 98 degrees Fahrenheit, give or take, 4 pH, so it's an acidic pH. Nobody's doing that. And when you do that, believe me, because I've tried, they taste so horrible and they're so nasty and fermented and goopy. Like, you don't want that. Your overnight oats are not fermenting enough to mitigate the phytic acid. Oats are better than a Snickers bar for breakfast, but they're just a tough thing for the human body to digest, and you're not getting nearly the nutrients you think from them. You were doing so good, dude, when you were doing eggs and steak, but the oats, they're a miss for me. I think oats are not great for humans.
It could be brown rice cereal with a little bit of fruit.
Okay, you've lost the plot here. Brown rice cereal. What's my issue with brown rice? It's another grain. Brown rice has a lot of arsenic. Rice in general has a lot of arsenic, guys. If you want to eat rice, you have to really keep an eye on your arsenic levels. I mean, people get bent out of shape for 0.1 or 0.5 parts per billion arsenic in Mountain Valley spring water. A lot of rice has 100 to 150 parts per billion of arsenic. 100 plus times more arsenic in white rice or brown rice. I think we should know how much arsenic is in our drinking water because we're doing a lot of drinking water, but people eat a lot of rice. Rice is giving people a lot of arsenic. There are ways to mitigate this. Some rice has less arsenic, 30 to 50 parts per billion. Basmati is lower, jasmine is lower, and you can cook the rice. It's called the pasta method. You cook the rice in a lot of water and then you discard the water. So you hope that some of the arsenic comes out of the rice into the water, then you dump the water. Most people don't do that. They're doing brown rice or white rice. They put it in a rice cooker. All the water goes into the rice and you're getting a ton of arsenic. What's the big deal with arsenic? Oh, I don't know. Cancer risk. Arsenic is not something to ignore and your rice is full of it. I'm not saying to eat zero rice, but if you insist on eating rice, use lower arsenic rice, basmati or jasmine, cook it in a pasta method, and just check your blood arsenic levels because I think a lot of us are getting way more arsenic than we think from rice and nobody ever talks about this.
Papaya, which I love.
I like papaya. I love fruit.
Some blueberries, and that will be breakfast.
Rock and roll. Blueberries. Fantastic.
My second meal of the day, which usually I eat around 10, 11 o'clock. That's what I consider my lunch. Usually consists of
more
complex
rice. We got
carb,
more arsenic
like
and more
rice, as well as chicken breast, I'll have
Okay,
some
rock and
greens.
roll.
I'm eating that after my workout.
I think greens are overrated, guys, but I'm not a fan of spinach, lots of oxalates. I'm going to let it slide here. I'm going to let it slide, but I think greens are overrated. But if you want to eat greens and you feel good on greens, fine. Just know spinach has a ton of oxalates, and if you're eating spinach and you have kidney stones, I warned you.
Consists of either a fish or a chicken or a buffalo or a steak. And again, some sort of complex carbohydrate and a green.
Let's just call it bison. Come on, guys. Red meat is king here. I'm not a huge fan of fish. If you want to eat fish, amazing, but kind of like the rice, fish has a lot of heavy metals. Oh, salmon is good. No, salmon still has a significant amount of mercury. Tuna has a ton of mercury. If you want to eat fish more than a few times a week, check your heavy metal levels. Lead, mercury, cadmium. Got to know these things. Don't store your food in aluminum in the fridge. A pescatarian diet is a quick road to heavy metal toxicity. That's what I'm saying. Check your heavy metals. I think if you want to eat fish once a week, no big deal. But I think it has more heavy metals than you think. And fish has microplastics. We've polluted the oceans, my friends. We have polluted the oceans. You might not believe this, but I'm telling you truthfully, cows, bison, elk, antelope, deer, eating grass for their whole lives. I think there's solid evidence these are the cleanest animals left on the planet. You do what you got to do, but just check your heavy metals if you want to eat a lot of fish.
And again, some sort of complex carbohydrate and a green.
Okay. They're showing sweet potato and lettuce. I think of all the greens, lettuce is probably the most benign.
My go-to comfort food would have to be cheeseburger. Sometimes it's a double cheeseburger. I need some bacon on there. I need some avocado.
All right, you can make a cheeseburger healthy. You could have grass-fed ground beef. You could have good quality tomatoes. You could have raw cheese or good quality cheese. You could have a sourdough bun. I think a cheeseburger is not necessarily the worst thing. I don't think In-N-Out's great, but cheeseburger's not the end of the world.
Starts with a good, big, fat-ass
sourdough bun. Sourdough
fries
bun
are important.
No, French fries. Skip the French fries. They're all cooked in seed oils. Anytime you heat an oil, guys, it's going to oxidize. If you're using an oil like tallow, it's going to oxidize less. If you want to eat French fries, tallow fries are definitely the best. Definitely. And if you've tried tallow fries, they taste way better than French fries cooked in canola and soybean oil. Just be careful what oil you're cooking your fries in. And I don't think humans should be eating a ton of deep fried food anyway. These fries, seed oil fries, no, huge pass. There's actually evidence that when you heat seed oils like they do with French fries, there are harmful compounds like acrolein, which is also in cigarettes, at levels that are comparable to cigarettes. Everyone will misquote me here and say French fries are worse than cigarettes. No, cigarettes are worse. They have 7,000 chemicals. They're known to cause all sorts of problems. But French fries cooked in seed oils are pretty horrible.
At the end of that, usually some sort of cookies, maybe even a crumb cake. Yeah, those are my favorite ones.
I mean, okay. If you want to eat dessert, fine. But obviously, you're going down in quality of your food here. I'm not a fan of those things. And I think that when you get used to eating high quality food, you're going to feel good when you're eating steak, maybe some greens if you like that. You're going to feel good. And then you add the crumb cake and you realize, oh, now my energy tanks and I feel horrible. Yeah, it's because you just ate garbage.
That's a great question. I never eat in the Iron Paradise, even though the gym is equipped for that. Every time I get in the Iron Paradise, it's time to rock and roll. It's time to train. My favorite carb is white rice
on the
or
arsenic.
Sweet potatoes.
Sweet potato is probably better. Sweet potato has a moderate amount of oxalates. If you're sensitive to oxalates, if you have kidney stones, sweet potato, be aware of it. If you don't really have issues with oxalates, okay, sweet potato is not bad, but definitely be aware it has some oxalates in the sweet potatoes. You could boil it to mitigate that somewhat. You could skin the sweet potato. That'll decrease the oxalates.
Rolls,
yeah.
And I like fun rolls. I love getting like the turquoise blast roll. I mean, whatever the fun rolls are. Because usually when I'm having my sushi, that's usually my cheat day. So I like to just go.
You guys are going to hate me for this. I'm not a fan of sushi. A lot of issues with metals in the fish. Your salmon sushi is farm-raised sushi. It's almost impossible to find wild salmon sushi. You're eating farm-raised fish. You don't even know it. Tuna is full of heavy metals. A lot of parasites in sushi also. Salmon sushi, if you truly get wild salmon sushi, it must be flash frozen because 80 to 90% of the wild salmon has a tapeworm called Diphyllobothrum latum, which causes a B12 deficiency. You don't want to be eating raw salmon right off the boat. It's a very horrible thing. So you got parasites, you got heavy metals, you got potentially bacterial contamination, you got arsenic in the white rice. I know I'm the killjoy. I think sushi is not a great idea. Of course, sometimes you eat the horseradish, the wasabi. Traditionally, maybe that helped mitigate some of these parasites, but there are documented cases of hatterism. Remember the Mad Hatter from Alice in Wonderland? So hat makers traditionally used mercury to cure their hats, and they would get mercury toxicity from the hats leaching into their skin, the mercury. Hatterism is mercury toxicity. There are documented cases in the medical literature of hatterism from eating too much fish and sushi. So be careful.
I have a complicated relationship with bread, but it's a wonderful relationship. I will try anything on bread. I believe bread goes with everything, much like how I thought I was with women in high school. I went with all of them.
Look, guys, humans have been eating bread for probably 10,000 years. There's a good way to make bread and a bad way to make bread. If your bread has more than 4 ingredients, it's not bread. So here's what should be in bread: water, flour, salt, maybe an oil, like an olive oil, not a seed oil. That's all that needs to be in bread. Make a sourdough bread. You take water, you mix your flour with it, preferably an organic flour. You let it ferment. That breaks down some of the anti-nutrients in the wheat. You add some salt. Maybe you add a little bit of olive oil. That's how you make bread. If your bread has carrageenan, if your bread has preservatives, if your bread has sugar, if your bread has seed oils, it's not bread. It's cake. There's a lot of humans that can eat bread very healthfully. Obviously, if you're gluten intolerant, it's not going to work well for you. Bread doesn't have to be unhealthy, kind of like ice cream. Ice cream can be healthy. You can have milk, maybe even raw milk. Wow. Eggs, egg yolks, honey, fruit. You can make ice cream very healthfully. In fact, I have a video on YouTube about how to make a healthy ice cream. I'll put a link to it here.
Best food
Grilling
smell
meat
in the world is something on an open flame grill.
We're on the same page, me and Dwayne.
If I had to choose one go-to protein, buffalo.
Grass-fed beef or bison.
Dwayne Johnson was an omelet. First would have some onions, some ground up buffalo or ground up sirloin, a little bit of bacon will go in there, a little bit of avocado, a little bit of peanut butter. Don't judge me.
Did he say peanut butter in his omelet? What? I mean, he was doing good on an omelet before that, but peanut butter? No, we don't want peanut butter in the omelet. That's crazy.
My last meal on earth would be double dough pizza. One half of it pineapple and bacon, and the other half pepperoni.
You guys want to know my last meal on earth? I'm an alien. It would be the same thing I eat every freaking day. I don't get this, guys. Like, I don't need some horrible meal right before I die. I'm going to eat steak. I'm going to eat some fruit. I'm going to eat some squash, and I'm going to feel good.
So this is a great question. Hands down, without a shadow of a doubt, being fit for longevity is my priority. And again, it started way back when I was a little boy.
That should be the priority. The quality of your life is everything. Nobody cares how long you live if you don't live well. So you should enjoy your life. But people will sometimes say this to me in the comments. They say, you're depriving yourself. No, I'm making a decision intentionally and realizing that the return on my investment, the ROI of eating healthy, is huge. It's not worth it to me to eat junk food that feels good, gives me a dopamine rush for 3 minutes, and then I feel crappy the rest of the day. It's never worth it. I'd much rather eat good food, which I still enjoy because I haven't completely confused my taste receptors and my satiety and my sense of what's good and bad and the dopamine levels in my brain in response to food by eating junk food. I still enjoy these foods and then I feel good afterward. That's the win.
My dad was the one who started to expose me to the importance of training and doing my best to follow a very strict, regimented, disciplined diet.
I think discipline is the key. There are so many temptations out there for us today. If you do what everyone else does, you will get what everyone else gets. Everyone else gets obese and fat and chronic disease, and I don't want that. I am much more willing to have a disciplined diet in my life, and that has paid huge dividends for me. I'm 48 years old. I'm fit. I'm healthy. I don't take any hormones, no steroids. I'm not Dwayne Johnson because I don't take steroids, but I'm lean, less than 10% body fat, and I feel good. I have a good libido, fertility. So if you guys have questions about diet, should I do carnivore? Should I do animal-based? How does Paul eat? I'll put a link to my day of eating video here and check out my website, paulsaladinomd.com. Yes, my last name has salad in it, but whatever. Make fun of me. Just check out paulsaladinomd.com. There's an eating guide there for carnivore, animal-based, food for humans. I'll even give you a quiz on the website to help you get a sense of where you should start. But I think the quality of the food you eat means everything in your life. The better quality food you eat, the better quality life you're going to have. Let's see how he finishes this video.
Do I ever eat in bed? I do eat in bed. Just not food.
Wait, what? That's how he's going to finish this video? Okay. All right, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.